Gang, drum roll, please. Family, what's good? It's your bro, Redemption Golden Son. I am here for the Lord, okay? I'm so excited right now, and I'm really just coming off a very short amount of sleep. And this is a testimony video. This is a testimony highlight video. So if you were on live with us, thank you so much for joining us. If you wanted to capture any gems, they're going to be right here. Or you can go to the replay of the live video where I shared the testimony on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok live. Y'all are going to love this word. So first, I want to give thanks to the Most High, like all the time, because there's nothing else to do first. And so I'm so grateful to God because I'm about to share with y'all why God is doing new things and some of the ways in which He's doing them. Because in my experience, I've seen that those of us who are spiritual, those of us who are conscious, those of us who are Christ conscious, those of us who are elevating, those of us who are awakened, we are so much judgmental of ourselves because we good souls, we good people, we want to do good, and we want to see that the Most High is pleased by our deeds. Facts. Drop it in the comments. I want the Most High to be pleased with my deeds. And so that's why I put myself on the chopping block of where is my action with God. So family, I'm going to be sharing with y'all a short interpretation of my last 4 months of faith and what these 4 months of faith has produced. I mean, I can go back further, but I'm really just going to start 4 months ago because that's really where the turning point of my experience started. So family, 4 months ago, I was in my mom's basement and I knew I didn't want to be there, but at the same time, it's almost like because of my works and certain projects I was working on, it just made sense to keep costs low so that I could complete certain things. Somewhere in May 2024, the Spirit of God showed me a different interpretation of the promise that He made Abraham, the father of all faiths. The father of all faith is the individual Abraham who allowed for himself to be an advocate for what God told him and to demonstrate the word that he received. And so all faith has been built on his faith, which is God told me so. Islam, Christianity, Judaism, they're all based on Abraham. So let's take a moment away from duality and get to the singularity of God told me, and everybody has built their lives of faith on this. So God had told me I needed to get out my mom and dad's house and journey into a land in which He was going to show me. Now, of course, He said that to Abraham, but He just said that again just now to me. And then I seen a video and somebody was explaining the same exact download revelation that I got from the scripture about that. And so I felt in the moment when I watched that video, I'm about to leave soon. I just felt that in the video. I was like, oh, I'm about to leave here soon. And so I may even put the video on top of this so you guys can see it, because I had already just did a little bit of study on Abraham, then I did a little teaching on Abraham, and then this video came. And so I was very much in that energy because everything was speaking to me the same story. Abraham and what God promised him, his ability to listen to God means he needs to leave what was familiar to journey into something unfamiliar. And then his also the process of him and his wife having a child took 25 years for them to have a child. And then also so many aspects. When he rushed and chose a partner that wasn't his wife, he had a whole different situation with that. I mean, so many things, life lessons, bro. And so when I had downloaded and recognized, oh shit, I'm leaving soon, I was like, but where the fuck am I going? See, it would have been great if I stayed in Costa Rica and I never came back. I was, going into my old stories because I've been very successful traveling and very successful online, very successful creating online brands, stores, products, very successful paying all my bills with digital income. I've done it. I'm very successful doing it. But at that moment, I was not experiencing the same success that I know. At that moment, I was very steeped into the environment of the childhood story in the summary. So I just kind of got to the place in my mind where it's like, okay, well, since God told me, that's all I need. Because I'm not going to be able to stay here and convolute different types of reasons to stay. Oh, I'm saving money, so this, and this, and this, and this, and that, and this. And then it's like, I'm not going to be able to shake this shit. God just told me I got to get out of here, right? Now, immediately after that, the people in my environment started becoming spiritually hostile. Now, I'm using these terms because I don't conceive or even think that they had the malicious, planned out attempt to derail what God is using me to do, or to stagnate or stifle me. I don't think they are logically and cognitively choosing to do these things. I don't believe that. But what I do have recognition of is that they act in ways that are not highest on the scale of esteem. And so they bring energy down unconsciously because they're living at this level of unconscious self-deprivation or self-devalue. And so they often devalue me because that's what they're doing to themselves all the time. So every single time I'm doing something, I will always in my heart just want to share it because I'm creative and I'm intelligent and I'm inspiring, and I like to inspire the people, and I like the people around me to be winning. I like the people around me to be inspired. I like the people around me to be focused on their own shit and having success. And so I'm always sharing in that capacity. But then I started realizing that every single time I shared something, it would never grow up. It would never bloom. It would never blossom. It would never develop. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm too fucking good to be broke. This shit don't make no fucking sense. I'm solving everybody's fucking problems. What the fuck, Lord? What's going on? What am I not getting? So God had to show me step by step, this is who you're talking to. Yeah, I know this looks like you're so-and-so, all these titles that we leave on people so that they have a place of power in our lives. He said, there's no title but mine. He said, look at what you've been doing. You've been showing and sowing all your seeds in these type of gardens and nothing grows. Then he said, look at your book, which is the ABCs of Awakening, which I don't have with me right now. But he was asking me, how was I able to make this book? And I was like, okay, I get it. The reason why the book is made is because when you told me to make it, I didn't share that shit with not one mother, father, sister, brother, uncle, or even friend. I didn't share it with not one man, a woman, child until that shit was completely done. I did share it with the editor to edit it. But nobody who knows me in my circumference was aware of this, because that's how he needed to go. Every single word is a seed, and some people sowing for the Satan, some people sowing for lack, some people sowing for poverty. You know what I'm saying? So I sow for abundance, I sow for prosperity, I sow for riches, increased wealth, abundance. That's me. So coming back to the story, I started seeing real things that if I don't leave here, I'm going to die. Now, take it however resonates. People think I'm talking about physical death. Some people think I'm talking about spiritual death. It could have been both. I don't know, but damn sure spiritual death for sure. And a spiritual death in that context would be like somebody who you see so go hard and passion and fire, and then all of a sudden they stop and go get a job. That's death. Because God is using your commitment. God is using your obedience. So when you stop being obedient, guess what? Everything stops. That's death. And so I was not going to die. And I was not being supported. And I was there way too fucking long to hope that I was going to be supported any other day. There's been too many fucking years of not being supported to hope that one day I will be. Fucking over, bro. And it's almost like I had to come to a space of understanding too, like being selfless is not the best all the time. Because you can't help anybody if you still need help. So, coming to the space, I started seeing signs that I needed to leave, because, let me give this one up. There was this huge confrontation I had with my mom about trust and distrust. And she literally laid it out on the table that she doesn't trust me, what I do, where I go, or what I say I'm doing. She doesn't trust nothing that comes out of my fucking mouth. Basically, that's what she was saying by snooping into all of my stuff. But the thing about it was, now this is so interesting and convoluted, and I don't want to put all of this out, but I am doing so at the time. So Father, help me know how I want to talk about this, because I don't even want all the information out there like that. I don't think there's anything wrong with a parent looking at their child's stuff, but the whole thing about it is, if a child is honest, tells the truth, and is always honorable in all sites and never lies, even if they're doing some shit that's fucked up, they're gonna own that shit out loud and say, I was doing that. And that's who I am. I don't give a fuck what nobody thinks, because I'm tired. I've already thought about their thoughts so much. I'm fucking done. So I tell people what I do, what I don't do. I tell people fucking everything, especially my family and my close people, because I don't want them to think about me and then later on they discover stuff about me. No, bitch, I told you everything from first day. That's me, because I don't have no time to think about some shit and come back and say, oh, but you said, no, motherfucker, you heard me the first day. So I like to be straight up like that. So that's how I am with her. And yeah, so I'm gonna leave some of the details out. May have to speak about them on live instead. But it came to a space where I basically was asking her, so What are you saying to me? Are you saying that you don't trust who I am? That I don't live for God? That you haven't seen me write this book, live my whole life for God, teach and be online every single day, dropping an hour and a half of spiritual wisdom, knowledge, and intelligence? Are you telling me that I'm a fucking liar? You're telling me that I'm doing something that I'm not telling you? I'm doing everything that I'm doing, and I'm telling you everything that I'm doing. So are you not able to trust what I'm telling you, or are you not able to trust who you raised? Because that's where it got to. For me to feel like I'm a villain in the house that I'm supposed to live in is like, I don't need to be here. You know what I'm saying? I came back here for y'all, by the way. So it's like, I was seeing that my selflessness didn't really bring the outcome that I was hoping for, which was my biological family members to recognize, number one, the spirit of the living God as I am. Number two, the awareness of health and holistic nature of eating so that they're not eating themselves into sickness or illness or disease. Number three, the balance of emotional and mental stability so they're not having issues living in this fucking matrix, but they can always come back home to the space where God is. I wanted to instill these things there. So I decided to leave Costa Rica, come back over here to Maryland, and fucking be here with my family members because I felt like I was growing too fast and they was not going to know this shit from nowhere because nobody's teaching this. Nobody knows this shit. I traveled and learned this shit. I was talking to Dr. Aris Latham. I was in his fucking resort and I was learning from him. And so I was able to have hands-on experience about how to live plant-based, why we eat healthy, why our health is found in our food that we choose to eat. And we find sickness in that as well. So all this energy was like, I had to leave. So I decided to leave and I got in my car. But when I got in my car, I was working on a project that I told you guys I was hoping to save money by living at the house to do. That project is now here. So the thing about this is, I didn't have a place to go and I didn't have any money saved up. I've been a little too risk oriented and I have not been a good steward of my normal forms of money organization because I was in a space of saving money. So I was in a space of saving money and I was over investing in my businesses and I wasn't really calculating for living expenses at that time because I wasn't paying that much. And so I didn't prepare any plan for moving or leaving. And that's why I felt like God had to do it this way because I wasn't preparing or planning to leave. And so he just got up out of nowhere and made me feel like it's time to leave. And he showed me all these signs. So I got up and I said, okay, I guess I'm just going to live in my car and figure out where God is taking me. Wherever this land is he's talking about, I'm going to arrive there sooner than later. But I'm not going to get there unless I start packing my shit now. So from that very moment, I started really integrating the energy of a planner. I started planning my whole fucking house as a car. I was like, okay, my clothes gonna go in the trunk, and this box gonna go first, and then I'm gonna put this in the passenger seat, and this gonna go in the back seat, and then I'm gonna take this cooler that I got, and I'm gonna put my food in the cooler, and then I'm gonna put this over here, and then I'm gonna have I organized my whole life in the car with my thoughts. And then the very next day, started packing my shit. I could tell by the way I was packing, I was gonna be out of here in 3 days. And I didn't know where I was going. And I didn't have a reason to go that I could address because these signs that I saw were for me. If I started pointing this shit out, that's like me trying to control their natural expression so that they're stopping doing what they're doing. And I could have done that, but that would have made me stay. That's not God's goal. God's goal was to put me in an environment where I'm not being self-depreciated, which is what I was living in the entire time. So staying or making it better to stay or making an environment healthier, none of that shit was on the table. So I had to pack my car, get in the car, and fucking be out. And this is where you're seeing me now, 4 months later. I'm still living in my car because I have too much work to do to give all of my time to get a job just so I can pay somebody else to live in their house. So I'm gonna figure this shit out with the Lord. But that's part of this testimony because the faith of me moving out and getting into my car at the fucking beginning of summer, this doesn't make sense on any scale, bro. There's no logic in this. Why did you do that? I did it because God told me. I didn't save money. There's nothing about it that is that. It's like, even people was asking me, why would you leave a comfortable house and food and all this to live in your car? Because of my obedience. You see, because when I'm walking in faith, they're using logic. See, when I'm walking by the guidance in the spirit, they're using practicality of human thinking. And then you can't serve God like that. especially when he's trying to help you, but you think you're thinking yourself into the same poverty situation. You're thinking yourself into the same cage of community. It's not a community if it's a cage. It's a prison. And so I was seeing that the people that were around me were asking me questions that take me back into the same fucking state. I was like, okay, I see that I can't talk to these people anymore either. So I have to leave, and I have to stop talking to these people. I can't give them my time, can't give them my energy, and I don't want to receive anything from them. Because every single time they open their mouth, it's negative spirits coming out. It's negativity, it's doubt, it's worry, it's fear. It's all of these same things, and it's like, y'all have no faith anywhere found. Why you have such a little bit of faith? Y'all see me with such a great faith that I can do this. So why the fuck y'all not encouraging me to say, oh wow, he's following God? That's interesting. And you can't follow God without faith. You can't serve God without faith. So who's really serving him? Those in church on Sunday or those stepping out on what he said just now? I don't give a fuck what you think. I just know that I am. You feel me? And so this is where the testimony gets meaty. Because while I was in my car, still in my car, I was shedding all this poverty consciousness. I was in my car for 2 fucking days in May. May 24th, I got 2 iPhone repairs on that same day. But the whole first 24 days in May, I didn't have nobody hit me up. I didn't have no orders. I didn't have no sales. I didn't have no purchases. I didn't have no repairs, nothing. And I got confused about that shit. I was really busy working. I was at the library, so I was always pouring my time into something. I'm not sitting around. I'm not fucking waiting. I have shit to do. So even if I'm not getting sales or orders or whatever, it doesn't stop anything. It just means that money's not coming in from this way. So whatever. Now I'm in my car. It's been 2 days. I got these 2 iPhone repairs, and this changed my whole thinking. Because like, wow, now I have $300 and I just had $0. Literally left out my mom's house with no money. I left out my mom's house with no fucking money. I went to where God told me to go to get my hair done. And I didn't have the money to get it done when I got there. And he knew that. And I knew that he had to been sending me there for a fucking reason. If he gonna let me show up there with no money, and what a fucking impression. You wanna get a service, you don't have the money for it. What kind of impression is that? He set me up. And I couldn't say no because I was leaving my mom's house that day. So I went there, and then he told me to call a particular person that I care about, and this person answered the phone, and then this person said, okay, I'm gonna send you the money for that. So this person sent me the money for my hair to get done, and then the next fucking day I had 2 iPhone repairs. I mean, somebody do the math. From then, I started being able to see that the expectation that I was gonna stay broke was coming from the people around me. I'm fucking wealthy and rich. I should have fucking been a multimillionaire already. Let's fucking be honest about it. I'm too fucking good to be broke. I'm too fucking solution oriented. I'm too talented, too gifted, too fucking knowledgeable. I mean, I'm too good. I'm too fucking good, bro. And so I don't get it. There's been a lot of my trauma experience of why is life not obedient to my effort? Put in all this effort, get nothing back. It's the people around you. That's what I recognized, because as soon as I left, boom. I didn't market. I mean, I was running ads before. I turned all my shit off because all my money ran out. I wasn't running no ads. I didn't post no posts. I didn't do no stories. Nothing. Just being in the presence of good energy. And here it just came right to me. I didn't do shit. Then I received the iPhones, repaired them, got my money. So from that time in May all the way to now, August, the end of August, it's about to be 5 fucking months. Now, Lord, I don't know how long you want me to be in my car, but you can speed it up anytime, okay? Just got to be real with them. It's about to get cold. I don't know what I'm going to do if it get cold. If it get cold and I'm still in my car, I'm fucking leaving America. Because I don't think don't talk to me about that one right now, Lord. Okay, so look, family. Now this testimony goes to a space of, I started seeing how I didn't have any money. I'm living in my fucking car. All I have to my name is the equipment, the tools, the parts, all the gadgets and all the things that I use to do the repairs and some of my products, my herbal supplements. If you guys want to get my herbal supplements, you can go to forganics.com and get yourself the ocean minerals. Great for your hair, nails, and skin, and it boosts your energy. Had all my products and stuff, my oils and everything. So I packed up all my shit. like a merchant. I felt like Willy Wonka walking around selling chocolate just on the fucking street. And so I did sell some capsules here. I did sell some oil here and all these type of things. And I got more iPhone repairs. And so every single thing that I was investing my time and energy in started to come back in the form of reciprocation dollars while I'm in my car, while I'm looking for a shady place to park for tonight. And so the beautiful thing as I started recognizing is that God provides for me. The only thing that fucks me up is me thinking that he's not. And I never thought that by myself. I always picked that shit up from the people around me because they was acting and speaking the language and the energy of poverty. So that's all I was hearing. And I was the only person with personal development, self-help, all this shit on my fucking mind all the time, because if I'm not keeping this shit on my mind all the time, I'm hearing all this fucking nonsense. And it's like, I just want to help them think and hear better the Spirit of God so that they stop that shit, but they don't want to listen to me. So now if I'm with them, then I'm fucked up because I'm too close to them. Fucking me up. So in that whole time frame, fixing iPhones, selling capsules, doing oils and all this stuff, this is helping me buy food. Now coming on Instagram, coming on YouTube, sharing and giving and teaching. And the brothers and sisters were so generous and gracious to share their energy with me, share their time and resources with me, share their seeds and dollars with me as well. And so I was very well taken care of. And so there's other things I want to say too. There were moments when I did run out of money. Because even though I'm still now in the car and I'm doing shit and I'm selling stuff and doing products and doing repairs and $100 here, $200 there and all this, I was still running out of money. Now, I wasn't having no spending habits. I wasn't overspending or nothing. But it's like I have different systems. I have different businesses. I have subscriptions. I have services that I pay for to help me do what I do to put my messages out. And so I'm just seeing that I'm not making as much as I'm using to do all that I'm doing. Now I'm a little bit better financially in the sense of I'm not starving and I'm not looking for a dollar or nothing. I can do everything I need to do and I have everything I need for this, like whatever, this week, whatever. And I was coming to the end of this project that I had started in May. But I knew the project was going to take time and I wasn't having no like date or timing for it because I was just working with the Father, same way I did with the ABCs of Awakening, because when I had started the book, I thought when I got to a certain page number, I thought, wow, 222 pages, damn, that's an angel number. Lord, this book must be great, like, because of the page number. But it's like, no, Lord said, you got more to write. What about meditation? I'm like, damn, I didn't even write about meditation. So I went back and just started adding. So this project was on his timing. I was just being the hands for it. And so over time, I started getting nearer and nearer to the end of this project. And this is where one of the biggest testimonies comes in at. As I was getting near to the end of this project, I was asking God, how much is this going to cost? And how am I going to get that money? Now, I knew how I was going to get the money. I got my services, my products, my coaching calls. I got a lot of things that I have for income streams. So I already knew I was going to get the money, but it's almost like the money's not there right now. So that's what I meant. And so I just received a message that I will provide all your needs according to my riches and glory. I will provide all your needs. The same way I provide your every moment breath, I'm going to provide your every moment need. The same way you never ask me for breath, you're not going to need to ask me for money. You're not going to need me to ask me to promote something. You're not going to need me to ask me for something to grow. Same way you don't ask me to breathe, the same way I'm going to be supplying you, edifying you, nourishing you, mineralizing you, making sure your body is well, making sure your pockets is well. That's what I know the Lord's going to do. That's what he's been doing. So I got to the end of this. So I just decided, okay, I'm going to put all the items that all my prototypes, I'm going to put them in the cart. Finish everything. It took me 4 months to complete this project. So while I was in my car and sleeping in the car and all of this, I was, so like during the day, I'd be in like a Starbucks or something working, but then at night, I'll be doing some of the edits on the literature that I'm doing, all these type of things. I would just be doing some multitasking, whether in the daytime or nighttime. Whatever energy I have, I'm putting this shit to this because I know, like, Lord told me, so that's it. So before I show you what this work is, I want to let you know that how you use your time is the most important thing about you. It's not about where you live. It's not about how you live. It's about what you're doing while you live. I'm serving God while I live, and that's why people in the world are going to recognize him on me. That's a whole summary by itself. So I got to the place in my heart where I was like, okay, the items are in the cart. I did the best design I could do. I created a new logo for myself. I did so fucking much, and I say it like I mean it. So fucking much design. I've never done this much design work. Designing a box, designing packaging. I've done that type of stuff on home goods and kitchen products and stuff. But this is a different space, and the reason why this is a different space is because God is doing a new thing. So that's another part we're gonna talk about too. And so I had all my items in the cart, and I was just talking to the Lord. I was asking him, I was like, Father, what is it going to take for me to get this money? How am I going to get this stuff paid for? I knew how much I needed. It's about $390 in the cart. This is just for the prototype. This is not to sell. This is not for, I'm not making money off of this. Like, this is for me to have because this is sacred and God told me this and I need to make it. So it's like $390 for the first prototype of all the things I put together. And so it was just sitting in the car waiting. And I felt done because I did all the work that's needed, all the typing, editing, texting, images, all the design. I did fucking everything. And so the only thing that was left was to pay for it. And so I felt done with my life in a sense. Like, I got a lot of shit to do, but for this seasonal time, I felt like, oh, okay, fuck it, I'm complete. And so it was a little bit like a rest period. I started taking a couple more days to just chill, even though chill to me is work on some new shit. So I just let my mind get a little bit more free, right? And I'm led to go on Instagram Live, but that day I was not feeling the best as far as like, when I come on Instagram Live, it's after prayer, after meditation, after being in nature, and I'm giving y'all the highest vibration of me because that's what I feel like I can do. I'm not gonna get on live when I'm a little bit frustrated or, tired or rushing to get to the office or something like that. I don't want to be on live at that time. You're just going to hear my ego thoughts. I don't have nothing to tell y'all. So I normally am about to meditate at that time. I'm about to journal at that time. I'm about to do some work at that time, but I'm not going to come on live and talk to you guys about my life if it's not going to edify you, illustrate some form of divinity so you can expand as well. I'm not going to do that. So I got on live after I took care of myself and I balanced my spirit. And so I was a little bit balanced, but I was not energized. I was not feeling like the highest energy to be on. And so when I got on, there was a divine angel that was on the Instagram. Actually, it was on the TikTok. And so I'm live on multiple platforms. And I don't want to mention this person's name just for, preserving their information. I don't want nobody looking for these people or asking them questions because of what I mentioned. But this person asked me, do you have PayPal? I'm like, yeah, I got PayPal. So I mentioned all of my handles at that time, say we got Instagram, Light Power. You guys can come over and check the video caption description for the email, lightpowerministry@gmail.com. You can go to Cash App, $Lightpower, or you can go to PayPal, Gademshi33. And then the person writes again, this epic person writes again, and they was like, I just sent you a PayPal, did you receive it? But at that time I was in the spirit, and so I was in the flow of the spirit, and I don't use my thoughts when I'm receiving God's. That's just how it works. So I felt like I needed to check, but at the same time, I was okay knowing that it was sent. I'm like, cool, like, okay, great. Somebody sent something. Okay, I'm teaching. I was focused. And so I just feel like I had to do it now. And so I was like, okay, while I'm on live, grab my other phone, trying to log into my PayPal, but then I get to the door of PayPal and it asks me for my password. I'm like, damn, this shit not auto-saved? Why didn't I auto-save it? So now I'm thinking about how I need to find a password in order to get into it while I'm teaching as well. That's when I knew that this was not supposed to be done. Because I don't like to be split. I don't like that. I don't do nothing like that. I may multitask, but I'm fully present in whatever I'm doing, So I was split at that time, and I was like, okay, let me go to my Gmail because it's connected. And if anything came in, I will see the email, at least what it was, or I'll see the email that it was sent. You know what I'm saying? Family, I opened my email, and in my email it say, Gademption, you got some money. So-and-so just sent you $555.55. Click here to claim your money. I mean, this shit is nothing I can make up, bro. I cannot make this shit up, bro. This shit said, so-and-so just sent you $555.55. Click here to claim your money. And I just put my hand on my heart, and I was just acknowledging this person in the live, and I was telling them thank you for your seed and for sowing such a generous donation. And I said a prayer for him. And then I tried to get back to the teaching as quickly as possible. I didn't even want people to know that I wanted to cry, or I wanted to kind of like scream and celebrate and talk about what I was going to do with that seed, because that seed now gets to pour itself into the ministry, and now this ministry is giving birth to something, and now this child of the Spirit of God, which is this work that I'm working on, it gets to come alive. And God already set up how he was going to help me have it done. And I was over there thinking about how to do it myself. Then I gave it to him and told him, take care of it. Let me know. He told me he's taking care of everything, just as he's taking care of my breath. If I don't have to ask him about my breath, I should better know who got it. If I don't have to ask him about my breath, and I have to ask him about anything else, I better know who got it. I better know to ask the one, the I am, because he's the one who creates the same breath that we're breathing right now. And so when I saw that, I was like, wow, we're about to get our shit. And that confirmed again, God, he told me to leave the house. He told me to leave in the car. He didn't tell me to go anywhere else yet, or else I would fucking be there already. And so until he tells me where else to go, I'm going to be basically where I am, just doing what I can in alignment with him. And so at this very time, I'm going to be sharing with you all the project that the Spirit of God has guided me to create, which is going to support us as this ministry. It's going to support us as a body of God. It's going to support us in growing. It's going to support us in having more information, more downloads, more channels, more intuition. This is so powerful. I mean, it's beyond words how powerful this is. So after I got to the place of, the live was over, I sent the brother a message and just thanking him. I didn't tell him all the details. It's interesting too, because a lot of times people want to know where their money is going. I feel like I wanted to tell everybody where it's going, because the shit that got me doing is the best shit on the fucking earth to do. I mean, I wouldn't do anything else at this time in my whole life. I'm telling you, from the soul of my soul to the heart of my heart, every fiber of my mind and spirit, I would not be doing anything else right now. There's nothing else. I've fucking done everything else, in the sense that I've given everything I wanted to do a try. This is the only thing I'm doing that I want to keep doing. Everything else, I could stop. I don't have a problem. But this, I would not. I fucking love teaching, bro. I fucking love bringing people into God consciousness. This shit is the best shit ever. Best shit ever. Ever. There's nothing else. Oh, my fucking goodness. Woo! Okay. So, to wrap this up, family, after the live, I say thanks and give greetings to this brother. And I also want to continue fellowship of relationship with this brother too, because I want him to know how well his contribution has helped me do what God is asking me to do, so he can live in this fulfillment and the satisfaction of being a part of God's work. For real. This is what y'all seeds do, actually. Y'all seeds support the work. It's not about me. I didn't change nothing about my living condition from that. Nothing. I don't think I did anything with that besides exactly what I just told y'all. Get a P.O. box. I did literally logistics shit and then order this work that I'm about to show y'all. And it took everything. Then the shipping came in too. Damn, that shipping was in there. Lord. And then I didn't even know their warehouse factory was in China. I was kind of happy that I had every single amount needed. I didn't have to look around for nothing. I did not have to check another account to make sure that this work was done. So that everybody can be blessed because of it. So that was another sign that I saw, and that was like, okay, God really got me. Like, no fucking joke, bro. No fucking joke, sis. The Spirit of the Most High really got you. For real, for real. It's not on some hopeful, wishful. It's on some exact. How many times have you walked around without breath? That's how exact it is. So I got to that moment. I started celebrating the Spirit of God, and I just felt great. got to the cart, went back in there to make sure everything was intact. Wanted to see how everything was laid out and make sure everything was the way I would want it to be. First prototype, you know what I'm saying? Because I can make edits from here, but after this, bro, this work is going to be another finished work that you can find on Amazon, just like my first one, ABCs of Awakening Divinity by Redemption Golden Sun. Clock it on. I am the Lord. And so, family, at this time, with so much joy and gracefulness and gratitude in my heart, I want to say thank you, God. Thank you to the Most High. I want to say thank you to all of my brothers and sisters of Christ. I want to say thank you to all my siblings in the light. I want to thank all the star seeds. I want to thank all the indigos and all the spiritual inspired people. I want to thank all my Christian family members. I want to thank all my Islamic family members. I mean, there's so many people that send love and energy on our channel that are not all Bible-based or raised on scripture, but they are unconditional love, but they are divine Christ consciousness, but they are singular in their understanding that we are all one body, we are all one child, one self, and they treat everybody the way they want to be treated. And so I appreciate these brothers and sisters, regardless of their faith, regardless of their orientation, regardless of their religion, regardless of their race. None of that shit matters so long as you're doing exactly the Father's business. You have a table and you have a seat at mine. So I want to show you guys at this time the works of the Most High. And so now at this time, family, I present to you the first Oracle decks by Light Power, the Illumination Church for spirituality, Christ consciousness, and the wisdom of living. We are the IC ministry, and I see why God chose me, and you about to too. Gang! I now introduce you to the first prototype. The first prototype of Redemption Golden Sun and the next extension of Redemption Golden Sun's spiritual work. Blazing a new trail alongside of the ABCs of Awakening. I now invite you to the Awakened Animals Oracle. The Awakened Animals Oracle. This is our first work. Well, it's really our second work. But the Awakened Animals Oracle features 88 cards. 88 cards resembling the divine creatures that God has created. And all of their divine wisdom is associated. In this deck right here, you have 88 cards, and it includes 122 guidebook, 122-page guidebook. And this guidebook explains each and every single animal and the message that they bring for our development and our expansion in the spirit. And so as we expand ourselves, we get to go and grow in the spirit. And at the same time, we get to develop our conscious abilities. So this is our first Oracle deck here in Light Power, the Illumination Church. And so I'm so blessed and so thankful about this work. In addition to that, this is something I want everybody to recognize as well. When we are able to grow in spirit, God uses us to do greater things. And so we're not actually going to see ourselves displaying the same way for eternity and eternity on time. What we're going to do is we're going to grow and we're going to expand ourselves and do what God wants us to do. And we're going to grow because of that. So not only do we have the Awakened Animals Oracle, like I just showed you. Woo! We also have the award-winning Awakening Souls Oracle, Volume 1. Now, this right here, the image tells you, this deck right here is to channel your intuition. This deck right here is to spark your inspiration. This deck right here is to guide your ascension. Awakening Souls Oracle. This deck is dedicated to the lovers of spiritual evolution and Christ consciousness, those who want to live in the highest alignment with the source, spirit, and the nature of God. Awakening Souls Oracle is for those desiring to express the fullness of their soul with power, light, and radiance. Is that you? Well, family, I thank you so much for tuning into this video. These are our very first creations. And I am so blessed by the Spirit of God because God showed me this. He told me this. He ushered me into this. And then he gave me every single word, every single message, and helped me design it too. So family, this is a special surprise that I get to share with you. So I'm not so sure how these decks will be used at this time, but these decks will be supporting us in growing as our spiritual body of God. These decks will be supporting us in developing our consciousness, and I'm very excited to share with y'all the message therein. So if you know that this energy is resonant, this energy radiates, this energy is familiar, then it's so important that you anchor into this testimony. It's so important that you anchor into this testimony because not only can God ask you to do things that you can't explain to other people, but not only will he take you through different experiences and different trials maybe, but he's also going to guide you through each and every single one of them, and he's going to also illustrate your steps to you every single step of the way. I mean, as I look at these two decks, I mean, it came with two decks. As I look at them, my soul is just fulfilled. My soul is so fulfilled. So fulfilled, y'all. So fulfilled. So look, family, as these are prototypes, I already know my brothers and sisters of the faith, my brothers and sisters of the light, they would love to actually collect and create their own relationship with these messages. But at this time, I'm not able to tell you how soon or at what cost I'll be able to make these available. Like I told you guys, the price of this cost me almost $400 after all the production, all that part of it. And I gotta double check how much that shipping was, but each of these decks cost about $100. Now I showed you two decks, but there's a third. And that's what all the other cards were that you saw seated here. But that is something that I'm going to share with you on live. So be sure to join us on Instagram Live, and I'll share with you. Be sure to